All right, this is what Drew Brees must realize. All right, and I'm just gonna tell you this now, and I'm just gonna be real as I can possibly get. At the end of the day, Kaepernick's protest had nothing to do with the American flag or the NFL. Okay, despite how I felt about Kaepernick, how I feel about Kaepernick, and I've told y'all many times I covered Kaepernick on this channel. Right, I didn't like how Kaepernick tried to guilt trip the NFL, cause everybody to turn on the NFL, and how he got paid to be a martyr. And he trying to say the NFL is racist. He sued him just because he couldn't get a job he wanted. He couldn't get the money he wanted. When there were teams trying to offer this dude a job, and the NFL showed you they cared, how this dude tried to flip the script and turn by against him. But at the end of the day, Kaepernick protested because there's still officers killing innocent people, which we've seen in the last 2 months. Even the McMichaels, who I've covered on this channel, right? That father and son who killed Ahmaud Arbery. That man was a vigilante who the police relied upon. Okay, there was some controversy behind that. So that's what Kaepernick was basically protesting for. Okay, and that's what I support Kaepernick on. I support him on the protest. I don't support him trying to get a job in the NFL because he went about it the wrong way. But Drew Brees, I felt what he said was just kind of out of bounds, because Drew Brees got to understand that he don't live in the same situation as most black folks live in. There's two types of America, right? There's white America, and then there's minority America. And Drew Brees America, and he doesn't grow up. He didn't grow up in the ghetto. This man, you know what I'm saying, did not have to worry about being racially profiled because of the color of his skin. Brees didn't have to worry about being pulled over and harassed by the cops, right? Most of the cops who are racist and dirty, they don't target him because of his skin color. He don't got to worry about that. Okay? Drew Brees doesn't have to worry about being lynched. Okay? No, he don't have to worry about them coming at him because of who he is. And for Drew Brees to actually say, "Oh, my grandfather, my great grandfather was in the military," well, you got black folks that's you got people who supported Kaepernick whose family was also in the military too. There's military veterans who also supported Kaepernick. Okay, that's just the facts about it. That's the truth. And Brees' timing was wrong, because this is not the right time for him to be saying some stuff like that and offending not only the black community but his teammates as well. For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of people who responded to Drew Brees. Now, yes, Joe Horn did defend him. Joe Horn is an ex-New Orleans Saint and a Kansas City Chief. Okay, he did defend Drew Brees, but the majority of people who came against Drew Brees on Twitter was his own teammates, right? Michael Thomas spoke out against him, and a bevy of other athletes. And then a lot of the black community is also speaking out against Brees. They don't like him at all for that. And see, it's a bad timing because, for one, we all seen that the Saints have picked up Jameis Winston. I've covered that on the video. So not only is Jameis Winston there, Jameis Winston has the potential to start and be the future of that team. Brees is 42 years old. Yeah, he's 41. He's finna be 42 years old this season. All right, I told y'all before, Brees should have retired last year. He should not have had an extension. It was up to me, Bridgewater would be the quarterback. But they decided to keep this guy on, right? So now you got two quarterbacks. Brees gonna mess around here, and the team ain't gonna want to be. His teammates ain't gonna want to play with him no more. It's gonna get that bad just for him going out there making that statement. Because again, at the end of the day, Kaepernick wanted to protest against social injustice for his black people. Okay, I can't knock the man for doing that. And it's a free country; he can do what he want to do. Yeah, I agree that Kaepernick could have handled the NFL situation a little bit better with his contract. Again, I told you about what that was all about, but him protesting against these officers killing unarmed black men and women, again, man, I gotta support that. I can't knock the man for doing that. Okay? So if Brees said, I don't like nobody disrespecting my flag, Kaepernick never once disrespected the flag. He didn't say nothing about it. He was just kneeling during the national anthem. Okay? The man really didn't say nothing about disrespecting the flag. So let's get that out the way now. But again, Brees should see that there's still people being killed by people who look like him. This is still happening. This has not stopped at all. And Kaepernick protested 3 years ago, and this is still going on. Okay? Yeah, Kaepernick brought awareness. I get that. He brought awareness to the situation. Now I feel Kaepernick should not stay silent. He should have spoke up the last 3 years instead of wait for other people to speak on his behalf. Right? I feel Kaepernick could have voted. He could have told, if you're gonna talk against Trump, you should vote against him. That's what I like about Kaepernick did. I told you that, man. Not voting is not going to help the situation. So that's the things I don't agree with Kaepernick. I don't agree with Kaepernick how he went against, how he turned everybody against his own black folks against the NFL, accusing the NFL being racist, which they aren't. Okay, because look how many black people have been employed over the last 50 years, and I don't like how he said he's not going to vote. No, those are things I can't agree with. I don't agree with him staying silent. If your girlfriend that's Nitty works for Hot 97, you should be on there doing interviews by Peter Rosenberg, right? You should be, if Stephen A. Smith invites you to go on First Take and speak, you should do it. But he didn't do neither one of that, right? And I don't like the fact that when Kaepernick wanted something, he didn't tell nobody black about it. Those are things I didn't agree with Kaepernick. But when it comes to social injustice and comes to protests against police brutality, that I can ride out with him. I support him on that regard. Okay? Kaepernick's statement has basically accomplished his goal. Because now more and more people are now aware of what's going on and happening in this country. But I felt Drew Brees, man, there's certain things he could have just left alone. He didn't have to say it like that, man. You don't bring up the flag when you talk about Colin Kaepernick. Okay? Because all that did was it shows your black fans that support you. They showed the black folks who are fans of the New Orleans Saints that we can't ride out with you. You're not gonna have no compassion for how we feel. That's what it's showing you. You showing your black audience who watch you every week from week 1 to the playoffs that you have no compassion, you have no feelings about what's going on with them. You don't see things the same way they see it. But no, Brees, man, he's like, to me, honestly, man, Brees should just retire. I told you about that. This man should just retire after the end of last season, right? Go into Hall of Fame next year and be done with it. Again, this was the wrong time for him to be saying that because a lot of his teammates ain't going to trust this man no more. I'm just going to be honest, man. Brees already know what the NFL feel about the situation anyway. He already knows there's a lot of players who still support Colin Kaepernick and who actually want Colin Kaepernick back in the league. And I told you before, I actually did a video saying what Colin Kaepernick needs to do to get back into the NFL. He still needs to do that now if he wants to play. And I understand that the reason why First Take, right, a lot of these other social media sites have mentioned Colin Kaepernick because the lawyer is trying to get Colin Kaepernick back in and he's trying to use this opportunity to do so. But Colin Kaepernick wants to get back to the NFL. He's going to have to speak up, right? He's going to have to speak on his own, right? He's going to have to go on Facebook Live or the Gram and explain why he wants to get back in the NFL. And he needs to talk to these owners by himself, right? Colin Kaepernick needs to have a meeting with Roger Goodell privately. That means no Ness Nitty there, right? Just him and his agent. He needs to speak up on himself on how he wants to play in the NFL. Him changing the tryout. When the NFL gave him a tryout, they tried to give him a workout. Him not signing that contract and then changing the location of the practice facility of the workout and going up there wearing a Kute Kinte shirt, calling out the NFL owners and Roger Goodell. That was not the way to do it. Okay? I told y'all before, man, Colin Kaepernick needs to apologize for that. And then, like I said, he needs to talk to them on his own by himself. But Drew Brees, no, this don't help the situation at all. Brees gonna mess around here, and the team gonna vote him on the bench. I'm gonna be very honest. They can't kick Brees out because he's too important to the New Orleans Saints organization. Right? He's won them a ring, their first and only championship so far. So they obviously can't kick the man out. But Brees gonna mess around and he gonna wind up being benched. Because his teammates like Michael Thomas, who basically is his main go-to guy, he's the franchise receiver in a Pro Bowler. He's not gonna want to play with Drew Brees. What's gonna happen to Brees? Either he's gonna be benched or he's gonna wind up being traded. Either or. Because I'm pretty sure there's other teams who would actually take Drew Brees as of now, and at least have him be a backup or mentor to the other quarterbacks. And these are teams like the Miami Dolphins, for example, who needs a veteran quarterback, right? Somebody to train too. It'd be teams out there that'd be willing to trade for Brees. And they'd be willing to actually take that money. Teams like Miami and Cincinnati, those particular teams would take Brees, right? But that's what's going to happen. Drew Brees is going to wind up either being traded or he's going to be benched. Because a lot of his black teammates ain't going to trust him after this. They already called him out. His teammates, there's been players in the NFL that's calling Drew Brees out, including LeBron James, who spoke out against Drew Brees, just like Steven Jackson spoke out against Michael Porter Jr. And let me talk about that now while we on subject, right? Because everybody have seen the video about Steven Jackson. We all seen the social media. George Floyd was somebody that was really close to Steven Jackson. They were homies. Steven Jackson thought that man as his brother, right? They were close. So Steven Jackson has ties to Minnesota through George Floyd. Okay, and then when Michael Porter Jr. basically said, I pray for not only George Floyd's family, but I pray for the officer that killed George Floyd's family. That God may change his heart. And Steven Jackson told him to sit his ass down, either you with us or against us. He's called him out. Now I'm gonna say this with Michael Porter Jr. so that people can understand. Michael Porter Jr. is a Christian like I am. Okay, he's a man of God. That's obvious. So as men of God or people of God in general, we're taught to basically pray for thy enemies. We're taught to forgive, right? Give those who wronged us, and we're taught to pray for everybody, because the God Himself is a forgiving God. He's a loving and compassionate God. So Michael Porter Jr. is only following the ways of his religion, just like Mark Jackson said about Jaron Collins. When everybody found out Jaron Collins was gay, came out as openly gay, he said, I'll pray for his family. And that's what caused the Golden State Warriors to fire Mark Jackson ultimately, because they thought he was bringing up religious views. Right? Mark Jackson didn't mean no harm, but he said it wrongly. Same thing with Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr., I felt he could have worded it a little bit better than that. Because right now, George Floyd dying is a very sensitive subject. But yeah, that's the only problem with Michael Porter Jr. And like Drew Brees, a lot of the NBA went against Michael Porter Jr. They called him out, teammates included. So yeah, there are some people who defended Michael Porter Jr. The main ones who defended Michael Porter Jr. was the Christian community, right? That's the only ones who really defended him in that regard, right? But it's a lot of blacks out here, especially the pro blacks. And they feeling some type of way. So we gotta make note of that. If you're gonna do an interview, you're gonna say something about the subject, don't do anything that offends the black community. Right? But I feel Drew Brees was just he took it overboard. He went kind of out of bounds with it. Cause he have to say, nobody gonna disrespect my flag. He didn't have to say that at all. He could have left that alone. Okay, I understand that Drew Brees might have done a lot for black people in the city of New Orleans. Because if Brees didn't really care about New Orleans, he would never went there. Drew Brees went to New Orleans because he saw the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and he wanted to give them hope. I get all that. But this right here, man, you got to understand that there are black folks who didn't have the same opportunities Brees lived in, right? Brees lives in a totally different reality. Okay, Brees didn't grow up in the ghetto, right? There were no ratchet people around him. He didn't grow up around a whole lot of graffiti, a whole lot of gang activity, right? A lot of sex, money, and drugs in his areas, right? That man came from probably blue-collar family that worked hard. Like I say, he brings up his family military, where you got other black folks whose family is in the military too. You got other athletes who their black families served in the United States Army. So I feel right there that Brees was kind of biased in that statement when he went on that interview. But that's pretty much it, man. Like, Brees just got to understand both sides, right? You just can't be one-sided in this topic, because this affects everybody. It's not just black folks that's get hit with police brutality. It's Mexicans, right? Hispanics, Asians, Filipinos, right? Middle Easterns. Is like the police have targeted a whole lot of people who are non-white. And on white folks, they have targets on white folks, but it's not that many. But Drew Brees, I feel, man, that was the wrong thing to do. Especially when you got another quarterback like Jameis Winston, who could potentially start and actually be have a rebounding season, a better season than he was in Tampa Bay. If Jameis Winston was to start for Sean Payton's offense, he might be a Pro Bowler. The man can actually be an MVP. So Brees needs to basically he needs to be careful, because if Brees gonna mess around and the team ain't gonna be on the side, they gonna want Jameis Winston to start for him. That's what's gonna wind up happening. Because already I have a lot of friends on my Facebook who are Saints fans that's basically turning they basically not supporting Brees no more. They don't like Brees. I had one friend of mine who said he's not going to watch the NFL anymore, let alone the Saints. So for Drew Brees, who's 41 years old, right, you for to be 42, you just signed a new contract. They just brought in another quarterback who's a starter. This does not go well for you at all. I'm going to keep it 1,000. These are not looking good for Drew Brees at all. He's already on the bad terms as far as his teammates. Because Michael Thomas is the main receiver they have over there. That man is the main, I think he's their points leader. He's their stat leader. Michael Thomas. He had one of the best seasons of his career last year, despite them losing in the first round to the Minnesota. Michael Thomas is, again, he's a Pro Bowler. He's the franchise guy. And if he has a problem with you and he feels what you said is sickening, then you're going to have a problem with the team. So if you're Sean Payton, you're going to have to figure something out. Because going into the next season, man, you do not want the locker room against you, and you don't want these fans not to trust you no more. So to keep their black audience, to keep their black fan base, Sean Payton may have to make a change. He and the GMs, they may have to make a change as far as the roster is concerned. Right? So that's what's going to get ready to happen to Drew Brees in spite of this. No, Roger Goodell ain't going to do nothing to him. Right? He ain't going to get suspended because he really didn't say nothing. He didn't do nothing wrong in that regard, but what he said was kind of offensive to the black community and to some of the New Orleans Saints players. Right? You got coaches who are black. They may feel some type of way about him as well. So, no, Brees, I feel Brees did this wrong. Right? He didn't word that right at all. He said something he should not have been said. Right? He could have kept that to himself. Man, folks, that's just the video. I'm just letting you know what's going on. Everybody has made their video about it. But that's pretty much it, man. Yeah. As far as calling Kaepernick, yeah, if Kaepernick wants to get back into the NFL again, man, he's going to have to speak up on his own. Right? Don't go on Twitter. Don't go on social media. He needs to do an Instagram live or a Facebook live, right? Or he needs to do a public video with him speaking out by himself, right? Don't have the lawyers speaking up on your behalf. Don't have Black Lives Matter trying to represent you. You need to speak up on your own if you want to get back to the NFL. He needs to apologize for how he did that workout and not signing that contract. And he needs to set up a meeting with Roger Goodell, and then he needs to go on First Take, right? He needs to go on Hot 97 and explain himself. And let everybody know what's been going on with him all this other time. Because you call it Kaepernick, people look up to you as a leader. So you got a responsibility. Since people look up to you as an entity, you got kids who look up to you. It's your turn to be speaking out. It's your job to basically lead. So when George Floyd got killed, man, it's your job to come out there and start protesting too. And go out in the streets and start leading protests and start speaking up, right? It's up to you to start making more appearances publicly like you did when you were signed by the NFL. When you were still currently signed by the 49ers doing what you're doing in this picture, right? You were speaking then. Don't stop, right? And if you do get a settlement, it's your job to let everybody know what's going on. So that's what Kaepernick needs to do. Okay? If he really cares, right? And if he really is down with being the leader of Nike, being their and being one of their spokesperson, then he has to continue to speak. Right? You say you want to play football, well then let everybody know you want to play football by speaking up. That means talking on video. Right? Talking on radio, doing a podcast. That's what Kaepernick needs to do. Right? And then maybe I'll change my mind about him. But until then, no, man. This thing's work both ways. But that's if Kaepernick wants to get back to the league. Yeah, Drew Brees. No, man. I think Drew Brees to come up with another statement, man. Right? You need to that was the wrong way to go about it. Because again, man, we see the officers still killing our black folks. This is still happening now. Everything that Kaepernick protested for is still going on now. It has not changed. Okay? Because if Drew Brees was to go through the Twilight Zone and walk through an alternate universe, and was to see that it's his people that are the ones who are being mistreated, it's his people that are the ones who are getting killed because of who they are, who they represent, and Brees was to see it as his people, right, that's suffering in low-income housing, right? They don't have the same opportunities as other people have gotten, and if the script was flipped, let's say it was an alternate universe, it was my people misusing his, it was my people beating and lynching his people, right? Then he'll have another. Then he'll think differently, right? If it's his people getting mistreated by which other race, right? If it's his people that's told they can't eat and drink at a certain fountain, right? They gotta stay in their own area. If his people was discriminated against, then he'll feel some type of way. He would never have went on that interview and said what he had to say. So for those who watch this video, I want y'all to just think about that. Right? That goes to any Caucasian, anybody's watching this video, just think about that. Right? But anyways, folks, that's the video, man. Like, subscribe, comment. Shouts out to all my new subscribers. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for supporting the channel. I do this for everybody. I do this because I care. And I love you all. Y'all stay blessed. Stay tuned. I'll see you soon.